Okay, so the video today, our tip today is we're going to elaborate a little bit on the last video when we talked about the backswing and its basic concept. So how do we move the club? We kind of know how it's moved by the hands, arms, chest and pelvis there, and we know kind of how our feet sort of talk to the ground to allow our body to turn as well. So today's session really is going to be how we set the club on plane, the shaft of the club, how we watch all of these pros on the TV do it each week, setting the shaft on plane. So how do we get that club on the correct plane and circling our body correctly, and how do we get our hands moving up and down our body correctly as well? Okay, so let's talk about and let me demonstrate the backswing, how we set the shaft on plane to allow us to make a good downswing, or put us in a functional position to make the correct downswing. So I'm going to show you how we set the shaft, the angle we set the shaft, and I'm also going to show you and demonstrate the direction, how we work the hands up and down the body. So I've got a basic training aid, which is probably my most popular training aid when I'm talking about the plane of the shaft and how we set it on plane into the backswing. And that's just a simple rod inserted into the butt end of the club to extend the shaft. Imagine you had a laser there, like a laser pen pointing out of the butt end. So I hold the club up against my left side. So some positions that we really need to move through in the swing. And remember, we're moving through these positions here. So the first position is the shaft parallel. As you can see, my shaft here parallel with my toe line, parallel to the target line. That's going to be the first position that we move the club to. We can see the club face itself and the line, the bottom edge of the club, the leading edge, pointing up to 12 o'clock. So we move through that first parallel, we cock the wrists, we're going to make sure we hinge the wrists upwards to set the shaft on plane. So you can see the butt of the club here pointing down to the white line, which is back along my target line. Okay, so the first parallel, how we set the shaft, how we then continue to turn the body and lift the hands up over the right shoulder. And you can see then the butt of the club is pointing now towards the camera that's looking down the ball target line. So the club is on plane here and the hands are wide enough at the top of our backswing. Okay, so first position, set the wrists, track the butt of the club to the ball, back from the ball up to the camera. And as we practice that, we start to get a feel how the body is moving, how our hands are moving correctly as well. Here, here. Here, here. Okay? My weight's moving onto my left toes, moving around onto my right heel as I load the top of the backswing. Okay, so that's a good demonstration for me to show you the swing in its shape. So now let's talk about the hands and the path of the hands. So I've got a hula hoop here and I'm going to show you how my hands are going to work up my body. Okay, a tilted circle up my body over my shoulder. They're going to stay wide and away from my my sternum here, the center of my chest, as my hands work over my shoulder. Okay, so you've got there in visuals the hand path, the club head and its path, and how we set the shaft on angle.